Alright, so the final season of Squid Game finally dropped the other day, and I wasn't the most impressed, not gonna lie. We gonna talk about it, but before I do, y'all already know what y'all gotta do. Like anything I gotta say in this video at all, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. We trying to touch 2,000 followers on TikTok and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before DreamCon 2026. Y'all lock in and make that happen. Before I get into the storylines that I liked and disliked about the season, I feel like I should first talk about the season as a whole. Starting from where we left off in season 2. Now, we know at the end of season 2, Gi-Hun tried to pull off his dumbass plan, have the exes rise against the organization that's putting on these Squid Games to begin with. And we know that shit failed. Bad enough it failed. My son had to see his best friend die right in front of his face by the hands of the dude that he thought was on his side the whole time. He was his biggest op in the front, man. So going into season 3, obviously Gi-Hun is super hurt. He's very depressed. You see in the first episode, he's trying to understand why they didn't just kill him. They literally put my son in the coffin while he was still alive. Obviously, it was the front man's doing, and shit is really fucked up when you think about it. Like, I understand Gi-Hun has been fiending to get back in these games for the past 2 years. This man has single-handedly tried to overthrow y'all. He got the exes coming at y'all, grabbing guns, putting down your endless employees with endless ammunition, and you still choosing to keep him alive? Like, for what? It seems like the front man wanted to see Gi-Hun make similar decisions to the ones that he made when he was in the game. You get a little bit of a flashback from the front man in this season. I'm talking a little bit of the littlest bit. See, after this very lackluster conversation between Gi-Hun and the front man, which we're gonna get a little bit more in depth on in a second, the front man killed everybody in his Squid Game class to win the money back in the day. See, now to the last body this man took, how much it took for him to really take all these people out. It scarred this man. He figures out the best way to keep Gi-Hun and the baby safe, the CGI baby that 222 gave birth to this season. We go talk about them in a little bit. That it would be easier for him to just kill everybody else in the room. Honestly, it would be. Like, at the end of the day, they gon' die anyway. But we already know Gi-Hun is not like that. And honestly, neither is the front man. The front man, we already know he liked to give everybody chances. That's why he made 222's baby a player to begin with. Like, as weird as this shit was, if he didn't make that baby a player, they probably would have just offed it for real. So low-key, he gave it a chance at life. I gotta respect it a little bit. Going back to this conversation between Gi-Hun and the front man, like, it was just so underwhelming. I feel like Gi-Hun could at least, like, slap them or something. Like, he was saying that you could have killed him, and you just left the room after he asked you, do you still have faith in people? That man deserved at least a slap. You could have choked him out a little bit. You literally could have did him the same way you did Shaman Girl earlier on in the season. Or how you did Daeho, who, in my opinion, he did deserve it. Even that was, like, dragged on. Like, Gi-Hun, just do what you gotta do to bro. It's taking a whole episode for you to just kill one nigga. Like, just get him about the way. It's not as if he was battling his inner conscience. Like, he was staring down Daeho the whole episode before the episode going into him killing Daeho. I don't know. I feel like they dragged that out. But anyway, I just feel like we could have got a lot more from this conversation between Gi-Hun and the front man, especially with Gi-Hun now figuring out that dude that he was playing with in all of season 2, the man that he didn't trust at first, but then slowly started to build trust in, betrayed you in the worst way, in the worst circumstances, and then killed your best friend right in front of you. Nah, that brother deserved at least 5 to the face, whether it's a smack or a punch, bro. You're tripping. Through all the depression Gi-Hun's facing, he finds new hope when 222 gives birth to the CGI baby. And after the tragic and unfortunate death of its mother, Gi-Hun pledges to ensure that this baby is going to survive to see the end of this game, which it ends up doing somehow. I mean, obviously, who's going to really kill the baby, right? Who's going to write a character in to kill a baby on a TV show? But then also, you got the main character in Gi-Hun taking care of this baby. Like, the plot armor between these two, you put them together, I mean, nobody's messing with them. We seen that in the final game. They used every excuse in the book not to take out the baby and Gi-Hun. It would be set up for these nobodies to take out Gi-Hun and the baby, and all of a sudden, the plan would just change on a whim. By the way, now that we're talking about the final game, who were these bums that they decided to throw into the final game? We got little to no expansion on any of these characters outside of Minsu, 333, and number 100. Everybody else is kind of a nobody. It's not like in Squid Game Season 1 where we only had Sang-woo, Sae-byuk, and Gi-Hun. No, we have like 8 niggas, and we don't know shit about 5 of the 8 niggas. Anyway, somehow they all throw themselves off, and then it's just Gi-Hun, 333, and the baby. We already know 333 is the father of the baby, but he hasn't been trying to claim it throughout the whole season. But now that it's just him, Gi-Hun, and this baby, he's trying to ensure that he can at least take the baby up out of here, making them the sole winners of the game. But like I said, the plot armor on Gi-Hun is too much, so he drops 333 off the platform. But he does so before the game started. Yes, they made this dumbass mechanic. You gotta step on a block on the platforms in the final game to get the game started. When in Squid Game have you ever had to do this? These niggas always start the game for you, or at least start a timer where you have to cross a certain platform before the timer runs out. It's never been a, oh yeah, you have a choice to start the game. That just felt real convenient for this last game. It was really hating on Gi-Hun. They did not want to see this man be a back-to-back Squid Game winner. As much as I feel like this was some BS, I do feel like the ending of the game was very appropriate for the theme of the overall season. No, in the end, unfortunately, our boy Gi-Hun sacrifices his life for that baby. That baby's really up now. 222 out the womb got all this money and didn't do anything. They're not gonna be wanted for nothing but their parents. They about to be the flyest kid in class. Ultimately, Gi-Hun's sacrifice was a big FU to the front man and the people running the Squid Game. Because you already know they wanted to see him kill that baby. These weird ass niggas. Maybe not so much to the front man. He really did like Junhee a lot. But you know them VIPs was fiending to see Gi-Hun do that baby foul. Speaking of the VIPs, their inclusion in this season just feels so unnecessary. I wasn't the biggest fan of them in season 1. But in season 3, they're almost insufferable. And it feels like the actions of the games really did not impact their character in any kind of way. Which it really shouldn't have. All they did was provide needless commentary. I was doing that enough in my crib while I was watching the season. Their voice actors are so cringe. Like the way they said every line, I just couldn't take it. After Gi-Hun's death, the front man goes to see him and then he goes to retrieve the baby before leaving because the building is blowing up. Right before the building and the island itself blows up, his brother, the detective, finally makes it on this island he's been looking for since the beginning of season 2. This nigga couldn't get into games if he wanted to. Now, I know in season 1 he was able to do it. He did such a masterful job of sneaking into the games in season 1. And I know in season 2 and 3 he was getting held back by that captain who clearly was working with the front man who did not want anybody on the outside to get to the island. But honestly, it just felt like his storyline resulted in nothing. He literally links up with the front man and the front man doesn't say 2 words to this guy. But then decides it's best to drop the baby off at his crib with no permission and no conversation had beforehand. I guess because he thought he gave him the money too, that shit would be okay. And yeah, it is okay actually. Looks on that multiple billion won. You don't gotta say a word to me to give me all that, bro. You dead to me, but I fuck with you. Also see the front man link up with Gi-Hun's daughter. Explains to her that Gi-Hun died, and he also gives her the money as well as his bloody uniform as consolation. Giving her the rest of Gi-Hun's winnings from the first season of Squid Game was cool, but giving her the bloody uniform, you couldn't just give her a fresh 4, 5, 6 uniform? You couldn't take the time to go to a laundromat and just wash them clothes out? I'm not even kidding when I say a spin-off of the front man's life going into the games to do the series so much justice because of why are you moving like this? Obviously, his wife died, his relationship with his brother is shit. He has to go through all he went through in the games, and he's been working over the games for a long time, so obviously he's had a pretty complicated life. You could have had a little decency, bro. Come on, you could have washed them clothes. You already know they could have helped themselves with throw a little hint at the Squid Game USA spinoff coming to Netflix, I'm assuming real soon. I heard somebody point this out in the video, and I agree. Why are they playing Daichi in America? I guarantee you nobody has ever picked up this game in America before watching Squid Game. You could have had them roll dice or something. You out here playing Daichi? Like, respectfully. Overall, they ended this series cool, I guess, but some of the things in the season could have just been better. Like, I like the games, don't get me wrong. Hide and seek game was really OD. I could feel all the tension sitting from my crib. I seen people actively switching from red to blue. I was very confused. Why on earth would I want to be a blue in this situation? There's no incentive for me if I kill somebody, and it's gonna be a lot of work for me to even make it out. We seen that they needed all 3 keys just to get up out of the game. As effed up as it is to kill somebody, we already had what we had in season 2. The whole bloodbath, we were already going up against the people running the game. You cannot be above killing at this point, in my opinion, if you this deep in the game. So give me that right, because somebody getting stabbed up in GTA. Jump rope game was cool. It really reminded me of the platform game in season 1. When I think about the hide and seek game, reminded me of the Gungi game a lot from season 1 too. That's the emotional stakes of it. I mean, we had the mother killing her son. We had my girl 120 out here being an MVP until she unfortunately met her demise by 333, who was trash, and not just season 2, but in season 3 too. Somehow my boy decided to double it and just be more trash than he already was. And then he was running with Namgyu, who doesn't even deserve any type of image in his backdrop if you be honest. Like 333, Namgyu, Minsu, and Daeho were honestly the worst characters for me going into season 3. That had relevance anyway. Namgyu want to beat Thanos so bad, and I get it, he's going through withdrawals, not having the drug anymore or whatever. I do appreciate the show for showing how serious them withdrawals actually were, but that nigga just came off as annoying to me. I'm sorry, I couldn't really take him serious. And then writing in Minsu to take the drug too. I understand he was going through everything because he felt guilt over Saimi's death. I don't know, I just feel like we've already seen Namgyu go through the withdrawals. Why do we need to see Minsu go through it too? And then Daeho revealing to us that he was never a soldier to begin with. I thought at first in season 2 he was just getting PTSD. Nah, whole time bro was just capping. He just wanted to fit in with the gang. That's why I feel no sympathy for bro, because you had all the time in the world to be honest with niggas. I'm not saying them getting those magazines would have gotten them the dub, but it definitely would have helped out their situation. I'm not mad at Gi-Hun for killing him, even though it really is Gi-Hun's fault for all them exes dying because you executed that dumbass plan. My favorites from the season were definitely 222, 120, the mom. I'm not gonna lie, her son did too much though. Why would you want to switch with your mom if you didn't have it in you to kill somebody? And then the shaman lady, I don't even need to talk about her. She was just doing too much. I never liked her from Jump Street. She gotta be too much like girl from season 1. I know y'all know who I'm talking about. Not having enough representation from these characters in the final game was insane to me. Y'all really had nobodies in the final game. Where's the suspense? Where's the stakes? And the boat storyline was just a snooze fest every time we went to it. I feel like the detective should have been able to smell the sailor out from a mile away. Especially you had other people co-signing that the sailor was sus. I just feel like they were dragging that storyline out. I don't know. The one worker girl storyline with 246 was more compelling than that. We've been following this storyline since season 2. Other than the games though, I did love seeing Gi-Hun give a final FU to everything that the games represent in the front man. Let me know what y'all thought about Squid Game 3 and if y'all excited for the spinoff in the comments.